When you hear the name Amir Khan, one thing probably comes to mind, right? Mr. Perfectionist. I mean, this is the guy who completely transforms himself, body and soul, for every single role. But, that's just the surface. What we're going to do today is peel back all those layers and try to figure out who the real Amir Khan is.
So yeah, that's the big question here. Beyond all the blockbuster roles and that famous perfectionist label, who is he? And the answer, well, it's not what you'd expect. It doesn't start on some glamorous film set. Nope, it starts way earlier, with a struggle that, honestly, most people have no idea about.
See, long before he was this massive star, Amir Khan's life was all about struggle, not glamour. We're talking about some serious financial hardship that really shaped the person he became. And it all kind of boils down to this one number. 8. Just let that sink in. For 8 long years, his family had basically zero income. His dad was a film producer, and one of his films got stuck in development hell for almost a decade. The family was drowning in high-interest loans. I mean, this wasn't just a tough year, this was his entire childhood. It defined everything. And that hardship led to this. This quote really shows you a side of him that's, well, it's pretty unknown. Before he was even thinking about acting, Aamir was a seriously competitive tennis player, like national level. And as a kid, he was already shouldering this huge responsibility, using his prize money to help his mom with bills. It's that kind of pressure, that early discipline that you can see echoes of in his entire career. And that right there, that's the seed of Mr. Perfectionist. It's not just some catchy nickname the media gave him. Oh no, it's a real deep-seated obsession with his craft. And believe me, he is willing to go to some pretty extreme lengths to get a character just right. Okay, let's talk about the Dongal transformation because it's absolutely legendary. First, he packs on 28 kilos to play the older, heavier version of the wrestler. Then, for the same movie, he drops 20 kilos to play the younger, fitter version. This wasn't just about a costume change. He was literally living the character's entire life story through his own body. And his obsession with detail is just next level. For the movie PK, get this, he chewed over 100 ponds a day. 100. Why? Just to get that perfect, natural red stain on his lips and tongue for the character? I mean, who even thinks of that? That's a level of commitment most people wouldn't even dream of. Want another example of his crazy commitment? Okay, for the film Galam, there was this one big fight scene. To make sure his grimy, beaten-up look stayed consistent for continuity, he didn't shower for 12 days, all so that the makeup and the dirt would look exactly the same day after day. Now that is dedication. And it's not just about him either. He brings this intensity to everyone on set. Remember that hilarious drunk scene in Three Idiots? Well, word is, it was Aamir's idea for them to actually get a little tipsy to film it. And what did we get? A performance that felt so real, so genuinely funny, it became one of the most iconic scenes in the whole movie. Okay, so we've talked about the actor, but that's only half the story. As a producer, Aamir Khan has a totally different vision. He's the guy who champions the kind of movies that, let's be honest, most big studios would be too scared to touch. I mean, just take a look at some of the films he's produced. You've got everything from the biting satire of Peoply Live to a gem like L'Hôpital Ladies. His production company is all about backing these unique, offbeat stories, giving new directors a shot, and proving that you don't need a massive blockbuster formula to make a great, successful film. And then there's his work off-screen, which is different. He's involved in philanthropy, but he does it quietly. Like back in 2010, after some terrible floods, he donated 2 crore rupees. But here's the kicker. It wasn't about the money. It was about the fact that he insisted on keeping it completely anonymous. You just don't see that very often, right? It's the complete opposite of how celebrity charity usually works. So, we've got this picture of a dedicated artist, a thoughtful producer, but of course, there's more to it. When you're that famous, your private life is always under a microscope. And that's where things get a lot more complicated, even a bit controversial. Now, we're just going to walk through what's been publicly reported over the years. Okay, so for years, decades really, there have been these persistent rumors about an alleged affair he had with a British journalist named Jessica Hines, and that they had a son together. This whole saga has been simmering in the background for a long time. It really blew up in 2005 with a magazine story, and then just recently, it all came rushing back because of what a family member said.
And that family member was his own brother, Faisal Khan. He came out and made this incredibly direct allegation, basically confirming the whole story. As you can imagine, that threw gasoline on a fire that had been smoldering for 20 years and brought a whole new level of family drama into the public eye. And honestly, that's not the only complicated family story that's been out there. You have his brother's other really serious claims. His daughter Ira speaking so openly and bravely about her own battles with depression. All of these things paint a very different, much more human and messy picture that really clashes with that super controlled Mr. Perfectionist image.
Which brings us right up to today. And something has definitely changed. For decades, this guy was famously private, almost allergic to the media. And now, suddenly, he's everywhere. It's such a huge shift that you have to wonder, is this some kind of new strategy?
Seriously, it's the question everyone's asking. After years of avoiding the media circus, why is Aamir Khan suddenly making the rounds? He's on podcasts, he's doing interviews. What's the deal with this massive, very public 180? Well, there are a few different theories floating around. Is he in damage control mode after Lal Singh Chaddha didn't do so well? Is he trying to shake off that anti-national label some people pinned on him after some past comments? Or maybe it's simpler. Maybe he's just being a dad, promoting his son Junaid's acting debut and hyping his own next movie. He even called this period his last innings, which makes you think he's trying to take control of his own story before he wraps things up.
So when you put it all together, the kid who struggled, the obsessive actor, the risk-taking producer, the private man with a very public family life, Aamir Khan is just a total paradox, isn't he? So what is this new, suddenly open version of him? Is this the real guy finally showing us who he is? Or is this just the greatest performance of his career from an actor who spent 40 years perfecting his craft? I guess that's the one question we'll just have to wait and see.